everyone, my name is Romanoff and I am the Long Island Regional Youth Partner of Families Together in New York State. I am a credentialed youth peer advocate and am working on strengthening the youth peer movement on Long Island through technical assistance to organizations, youth-focused community events, and networking with various organizations that serve youth across all systems. These systems range from the Office of Mental Health, the Office of People with Developmental Disability, and includes the intersectionality of these systems. In layman's terms, this means that I connect with organizations that serve youth to speak directly with the youth, receiving those services to hear their experience, and provide them with the tools to advocate on their own behalf. I partner with community organizations to host events that bring youth and families together for a common cause. I also provide support to these organizations so they are better equipped to engage the youth that they are supporting. A little bit about me. I've had anxiety for as long as I can remember. In elementary school, I would have panic attacks in the middle of the school day, creating a scene. As I became older, these outward episodes turned inward and made it difficult to focus or function. In school, I was quiet, able to make some friends, and was a mostly average student. I distinctly remember in the 6th grade, my parents' addiction became out of control, and my dad was unfortunately hospitalized for a suicide attempt. At that point, I was more aware of my parents' issues, and it began to affect more aspects of my life. I almost failed all of my classes, I could not focus during school, fell asleep in most of my classes, and began engaging in self-harm. At one point, I even had to live with my oldest sister for a few months. I was fortunate enough to have a guidance counselor who noticed I was struggling and became a person I could seek out to for support. I remember being introduced to what a mental health counselor was on TV and thought to myself that what I had gone through would make me a perfect counselor. However, honestly and very fortunately, that did not happen. I quickly learned in undergrad the pressure of school and work, combined with coping with my parents' fluctuating degrees of addiction, resulted in my body just shutting down. I was in and out of doctor's appointments and hospital visits, and still none of these professionals were able to give me the support I needed. My primary care doctor simply tried to prescribe me anxiety medication with literally no information as to what I was taking, what to expect, or even how often to take it. Honestly, I didn't even bother picking out the prescription. What I needed most was someone who could relate to me, someone who could teach me tangible skills on how to articulate what I was feeling and advocate for my needs. I was fortunate enough that my siblings and parents were able to step up despite their own struggles to help me during my lowest points. My family had the strength to call a bunch of providers when I didn't have the energy or capacity to do so, and finally made me an appointment for a psychiatrist and therapist, which changed my life forever. Not everybody has access to these resources or supports that I have. That is my biggest motivation for where I am today. I want to make sure that other young people are seen and heard by their teachers, medical professionals, guidance counselors, and the like. That way they don't suffer in silence. When I was in school, my panic attacks were outright ignored because I was considered a decent student. This is not the case for many of our youth. They simply just fall through the cracks by getting labeled as lazy or troubled. What can we ask of our legislators in order to alleviate this issue? We need more funding for training for our teachers and school administrators to see the signs and symptoms of young people struggling. We need to eliminate the stigma behind having mental health challenges, especially in adolescents. I happened to stumble upon Families Together in New York State, participating in a training for a previous job, and knew immediately that this is where I wanted to be. Being a Long Island Regional Youth Partner gave me the training I needed to use my story in a way that empowers me to provide support to others who are also navigating this complicated system. I am working towards building a community network of other youth who want to find empowerment in their story and utilize it in a constructive way that can not only help themselves thrive, but others too. My journey is not over. It is progressing and changing in a way that allows me to thrive despite the mental health challenges I face. What we can ask of our legislators is to fund training for our teachers and school administrators to recognize the signs of struggling mental health in their students. We need resources for our youth and families, having organizations such as Family Service League, Well Life Network, or SEO being common knowledge to parents would help immensely. Youth need transparency in their services because, let's face it, if they don't understand why services are being provided or why their services are changing, they are most likely not going to benefit from it. Mostly, we want our legislators and schools to understand there is a real crisis going on in our youth, and their mental health is hurting. We can no longer ignore what is going on, We need action to be taken. If we can codify these things into actual legislation with guidelines and criteria these institutions have to make real change can happen. While policymakers work towards these goals, I'll be doing my part too. I will be leading activities like the Healthy Minds, Healthy Kids community speak out that I helped organize at the end of August. That was part of a statewide effort to support and activate parents and youth navigating the New York State's children's mental health system. I will be speaking at events like this and Youth Power University, where I provided a training for advocacy basics, speaking with legislators, as well as a workshop on disability history for the youth who attended. I will be tabling at events throughout Nassau and Suffolk County in order to reach out to youth about mental health supports within their communities. I will also be hosting an event with the support of Hands Across Long Island on October 21st, where youth will gather to support one another's artistic talents via an open mic night. There's also a flyer in your folders for that event. Myself and my colleague Robbie Lettieri will be working with schools such as the Academy Charter School in Nassau County to facilitate the implementation of the Junior Youth Peer Advocate Program that provides training to their students in supporting and coping with mental health challenges. If you have youth that are interested in self-advocacy and want to learn more about the Youth Peer Advocate credential, feel free to stop me during the breakfast and I will be happy to give you my contact information. Thank you, everybody.